Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. Today we are going over Seed Time, one of my favorite apps that I like to use. And I'm going to be showing you how to add things to your crops, go ahead and create a layout for them, how to utilize the task list and so forth, and how I find to use this and make this user friendly for me. So the first thing is I have my calendar up here for February 2025 for 12 months. You can do whatever grouping, whatever dates you want to. This is going to show me all the way down. I obviously have a lot of things already inputted, and we're going to go over that. I do want to point out though, on this calendar right now, it is going months this way. Your dates also going across. There is some dark blue coloring on the dates, and then there's some light blue coloring, and then it goes into the white background. So the dark blue is when you create your account, you're going to put in your zip code, and it's going to give you your first estimated frost and your last estimated frost for your zip code. And so ours is a last frost that's estimated around April 20th, which means right here, this light blue is we're probably going to get some light freezes, but this dark blue, we're still in a hard freeze zone where we can still get that. I don't think we're going to, but this is just based off of historical averages. So you want to make sure you keep that in mind, that you're still watching your weather and so forth. Okay, so I actually had inputted this one. No, there. I'm going to delete it because I'm going to go ahead and do it again and go from there. So when you want to add a crop, you're going to put it here. I'm going to do one that we already have in the system, and then I'm doing one that's not in the system yet. So I have beets, and my crop variety, I like to keep this separate, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my golden. And then I'm not putting where it is going to be right now because I'm still figuring all that stuff out, but you could label it on which garden it was in, so that way you can sort via that. You can choose your color for your tags in your calendar. I just, for the most part, use whatever it pops up with. And then you get to decide how you're going to seed this. Are you going to direct seed it outside in the dirt, or are you going to start the seeds indoors and then transplant them outside? So sometimes you will have missed the window, the ideal window for starting plants inside and transplanting them outside, but you still have time to direct seed, or vice versa. So these are things that we want to look at, and you can hop around. I'm going to direct seed my beets, so I'm good with that. It's a cool season crop, and it's telling me that I need to prepare the bed, make sure it's cleared out and ready, and if I'm going to do any amendments or anything, at least 7 days before I direct seed. And then I'm going to direct seed 28 days before my last frost. And then cultivating is just weeding and making sure your beds are cleared. So it's going to tell you when to cultivate. If you don't want that in here, you can take that out and have no cultivating even show. Harvesting gives you a window of probably when you're most likely going to want to harvest this. So these are all things you get to look at in here and change if you want to. And then I'm going to go ahead and schedule this. So this popped it in right here that I have golden beets. It's telling me I need to prepare my bed for the golden beets this week, that I should be direct seeding them outside next week. And then it's going to tell me in April that I need to weed and make sure there's no weeding around them or weeds around them. And then we're going to pop down even further, and we're going to weed again here. And then in May, between the 18th of May and the 8th of June, I should be able to start harvesting my golden beets. Now these are all estimates. You can work around these, do whatever you want with it, but that's kind of how you input a crop into here. And then if you have a crop that you have not, that is not in the system, so we're going to add a crop, and I don't think, oh, so this is a custom crop, so let me use one that I haven't done yet. I haven't done research on this, so I'm definitely going to throw it away, delete it out. But let's do butterfly pea. Oops. So I need to create that, okay? And I want it to be the Thai double blue is my variety. And I'm not going to put it again in that. I'm going to choose a color. It's a flower. I'd be harvesting the flower. This is probably going to be a transplant out. My seed packet says start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before last frost, or sow outdoors after danger of frost. Perennial in zones 10 through 11. So in this case, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to say, because we're already way past our time here, I'm going to say direct seed, and I'm going to edit this. Oh, that's fine. 7 days is fine. Direct seed. It's relative to frost in the spring and summer, and it is 0. And I'm going to say 1 week after last frost, because we want all dangers of last frost to be gone. So that will save that. And then harvesting, these are climbing flowers. I don't really know when they're going to bloom. I do want to harvest the flower petals, but I don't know. So right now I'm going to delete this task this year, and next year I may go ahead and put that in there, because I would have a better idea. So I'm going to go ahead. Oop, can I schedule? We're going to delete the cultivate. There you go. Plant spacing. Let's see. These grow. They're a vine. So I'm going to say 6 inches apart. I'm guessing on that you're going to want to do your research better. So now I'm going to look out here, and I'm going to say butterfly pea. We're going to prep it at the end of April, and we're going to be direct seeding it in April, at the end of April. And then we'll keep track of that. It's going to tell me when to weed it and so forth. And then when I'm going to keep track of when I harvest the flowers, when it starts to bloom. That way next year I can put that in here. So now we're going to look at how to change this up a little bit. So let's say I don't want to see all my weeding tasks. It's just too much. Sometimes this is too much for people. I'm going to take off all of my weeding tasks. Let's say I don't really want to see when I'm going to harvest stuff right now, because I know I'm going to harvest whenever I go out there. Okay, I took off all my harvesting. So now the only things I am seeing on this task filter is seeding, direct seeding. I'm going to take off bed preparation, and so I have seeding, direct seeding, and transplanting, anything to do with seeds. So now my list is a lot smaller. I will be seeding or transplanting or direct seeding until until it looks like June. So we have all kinds of stuff that we are going to be doing through the season. And then when I get my fall garden in here, I'll have dates all throughout here. All right, so now let's say we want to utilize this in a different way. I am here and I have, why is my, because that's there. All right, so I have a list for today. We have March 18th is when I'm recording this, and it's telling me right now when I need to, what I need to seed. So this is seeding inside. Bed preparation is getting everything ready outside, and again, seeding inside. Direct seeding is putting it into the garden outside. And so this is going to tell me this week, this is what I need to do. Now, let's say I don't want to have my bed preparation here. I want to have an idea of just the seeds I have to start. So I'm going to take my bed preparation off, and I now have a list of what I need to start seed-wise. Okay. In my case, this is probably going to be 1 or 2 per plant that I'm starting, because I don't have a very big space this year, whereas in previous gardens it has told me what I need to start, how many I need to start, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you that. Oops, let's see here. Oh, here we go. I picked a good week. Okay, so in this case, oh no, it doesn't show me here still. Darn tootin'. Why is it doing this? Let's choose a later date. Here we go. This will show you. Okay, so in August, I was supposed to plant the radishes. We're going to look at this one right here. And this little bubble right here, if you have your layout, which I'll show you shortly, if you have your layout set up, then this is going to show you how many seeds that you're going to need, how many plants you're supposed to plant. And most of the time, depending on how you're growing, this is going to depend on how you're going to have how many plants. So this is a great tool to have if you have a large garden or you're planting for multiple people. If you have the layout set up, this will tell you how many seeds you're supposed to start. And the way you kind of get this is you go to the layout. This is an old layout. This is for my best friend's yard, actually, where I grew this last year. And so I had all the beds set up. And what you can do is you could choose your seeds, and this is how you can decide where things are going. So let's say beets are supposed to be direct seeded. So let's say I grab these beets and I pop them here, okay? And I want to have 4 feet. I want to have this whole section be beets, okay? I can now click this. If this is going to do it right, we're going to see what happens here. And this is going to tell me that I can fit 48 plants in there, because my row spacing is 10 inches and my plant spacing is 3 inches apart. This you can change, because some people don't do it in rows. They have them interplanted or so forth. Some people do square foot gardening. This is all dependent on how you decide to set this up. So let's say I decide to go this way, right, and have another plant this way. So now let's see what that's going to say. That's going to say 30 plants. So you can kind of get a gauge on what you need to start by laying out your garden. Now, I haven't laid out my garden here yet. I plan on doing so. I really have to figure out how many containers I'm going to have, where I'm planting things like that. So I haven't gotten that yet, but I wanted to show you this because then you can go through and go, okay, so in this bed right here, I have beets, right? Let's say they are going to be harvested somewhere in May. I can pick another plant that may get seeded. So how about calendula? This is an old calendula. So I can choose something that needs to get direct seeded in June and pull that down and take this spot. And that way, let's see, I'll move this garden. So now it's gone because we're now in June for the garden, and I can pull calendula down and pop calendula in here. Okay, so then I can take this and go, okay, so June it's calendula, May it is beets, let's say in March it was kale, okay, whatever it was beforehand. And you can kind of gauge what you can want to plant where and how you're succession planning and planning out your garden by having this set up well. I am going to go ahead and delete. Yeah. And then I can delete this one because I'm not planning on this garden, so I don't want anything to pop up later on here. So you could totally plan your garden out very easily here. This is great for beds. I am going to use it for containers. I've got to figure that part out, but I am going to use that for containers for my GreenStalks and so forth. So I'll get that situated, and then maybe I'll do a video on how I laid that out. But this is a super handy tool to have. So I'm going to go back to tasks. And what I like about this is, let's say I'm going to choose another day that's probably going to get a little bit busier coming up. Let's choose this week, okay? So I have things to harvest, I have things to weed, I have things that I need to transplant out, and I need to decide, like, maybe I'm going to have one person do this or one person do that. So what if I I'm going to take off everything but seeding, okay? There's nothing. So that person who's going to do seeding isn't going to have to do that. So maybe I'm going to have somebody go out there and prep a bunch of beds. Oh, I don't have to do that. But I do need to transplant all of these things out this week. And so somebody really needs to focus on making sure these get transplanted out. Great. Somebody else can be weeding in between beds and plants and making sure they're looking good. And I know what I kind of need to be spot checking to see if it's ready to harvest, right? And have this there. It's a handy tool to be able to have, and you can easily gauge what needs to be done for a week by having this and utilizing it. And what's nice is the task portion of this, what we're looking at, is available on mobile. You can check things off. The thing is, if you check something that is done on the task list, it is going to be shifted on your calendar to be done that day that you chose it to be done, and it will shift everything else afterwards. So if you actually did something, this is a prime example. I had transplanted the asparagus on the 10th. It showed this whole week before. But because I, on this task list, had checked it off on the 18th being done, it marked it off for one day. And I'm like, oh, hold it. That put it in the wrong spot. So I picked it up and I moved it back over here. But it was originally here. Because I checked it off on the task list today, it did it, it moved it. So if you want something to be checked off and you are on a different day, so let's say 3 weeks ago, I seeded parsley or whatever, right? You can click this and you can mark it as complete, and it will say stay in its spot. Okay, I think that's really the gist. I really like this program. I like that I can pop things in here. I can see what needs to be done. Really plan out my month, my weeks, and figure out what I need to do when, and to not get behind on the ball. So this is an awesome tool. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description of this video and let you take a look at that and see if it's something that you are interested in trying out. It is super helpful. If you have questions, please drop them down in the description or the comment section below. And me or one of my viewers will help you and get things squared away. But thank you for joining, and we will see you back here on the next video.